You're listening to the Unbranded podcast, where we talk about marketing and a bunch of other stuff. Thanks for coming back and listening. Since you last heard us, one of us got famous. Can you guess who? It wasn't me.
It's this guy.
Who was it?
It wasn't me. There's only one other person on this. What?
No, it wasn't me.
What? Lies.
I'm not famous.
Yeah.
Famous
Lies.
is such a open term.
I don't think all of my social media in the world combined equals how many views your one video got on TikTok.
Yeah, Titus. You're like almost at 1 million of views right now. Like definitely the king of TikTok as we know it.
Oh,
The king of TikTok among us, for sure.
Okay.
You should be putting on a course for TikTok.
I will put on a course after I figure out the algorithm, but I'm diligently working on that.
Good.
It's like a game.
Apparently, all I have to do is duet with people doing crazy shit.
That's it, man.
Take
successful videos and react and be crazy at 1:00 in the morning.
There it is, folks. You heard it here first on the Unbranded podcast. You have to post at 1:00 in the morning. We're probably
HST.
Joking about this. Yeah, in
That's
Hawaii,
because it's
you have to be in Hawaii in order for this to work. 1:00 in Hawaii, posting to TikTok, and it has to be a duet with somebody else's content, and that's how to break 1 million. Secrets exposed. Secrets exposed.
That's the mic drop. Boom. Yeah, I don't know. It's really crazy. And it's definitely giving me all the dopamine that I need over the last 4 days. It's like every time I open it, 5,000, 15,000, and just like a limitless amount of comments.
So when are you going to get your Lamborghini Huracan?
Ooh.
Don't they give you those?
You know what?
Your license plate needs to say TikTok. TikTok.
I'm pretty sure whoever's running the American offices for TikTok probably has that license plate.
I've
TikTok
got to
Titus of all time.
I have to take the northern lights out of my screen because it's distracting me.
That's crazy.
How do you like my new studio thing behind me?
It's beautiful. Nice. Your little softbox is nice. You got 2 TVs.
Yeah.
We can see you've got quite a view. You've got.
I just tried to steal your limelight because I'm not famous like you. Yeah.
I don't like being in the limelight. It's a weird like counter ego thing. I don't like being center of attention.
Titus likes the lemon light. It's that other brand.
Yeah. The off-brand or unbranded.
I have to say though, once you got TikTok famous, I actually re-downloaded the app, and what would normally be like a 10-minute poop turned out to be a 45-minute poop, and I didn't realize it this morning.
That's it, man. That's the drug called TikTok.
You got bit.
Which is why I got rid of it in the first place.
Yep. You get sucked into a TikTok wormhole, and next thing you know, 2 hours goes by, and then it's 1 a.m.
Yeah. So, well, like two of the videos were yours.
I saw you like them.
You saw I like
Feel Good Westifer official.
That's because I was on the toilet during that time. So if I'm liking your stuff on TikTok.
Hashtag TikTok toilet time.
TikTok toilet time. Yeah, we just started that hashtag. So now our official hashtag for this podcast is hashtag TikTok toilet time.
Yeah, but like seriously, like you got Titus, you've got like 80,000 likes on that vid and almost 1 million views. It'll probably be 1 million views by the time we're done actually filming this podcast here. I mean, from your perspective, like how can brands really be able to leverage this platform? There's clearly tons of people checking out your stuff, and you're not even promoting anything yet.
No. One, if they do come up with a TikTok, it's really about quantity from what I see.
Hmm.
And it getting picked up by the algorithm to me seems pretty random, but it's about the like to view ratio probably within the first 50 to 100 views.
Hmm.
I've been
Do you,
really paying attention to posts, and I'm trying to post frequently, and I notice the ones that do well get likes instantly
Hmm.
would you say it
within the
has
first
anything?
like go ahead.
I was gonna say, would you say it has anything to do with the time of the day or certain hashtags or certain types of posts?
So I've been following a lot of the marketers that teach you how to grow your TikTok following, a ton of them, and they always pop into my feed because that's what I'm watching. So the most important metric to gain followers and gain likes is watch time.
Mm.
Hmm.
But to address your question, it's the first couple of seconds that's the most important. It wasn't the hashtags, because hashtags are irrelevant. I've seen videos with, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views with zero hashtags, zero
Mm.
captions.
Hmm.
But when it comes to time, if you create your, or you turn your account into a pro account, then you get your analytics, and that'll tell you all you need to know because it breaks it down, the interaction with your account by hour.
Wait, what's a pro account? You have to pay for that?
No, it's
No,
free. You just
pro account is free. I've got a guide for it if you want to check it out. It's pretty easy, but it's not a very known accessible feature
Is it
of
just a
TikTok.
switch you flip?
Yep.
Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So is it basically like on Instagram how you can be like either a personal or a creator or a business? You just switch it, and
Mhm.
based on that,
Correct.
you get certain
Yeah.
utilities.
I'll
Okay.
add the
Correct.
link to I've got an article on Medium about how to switch a pro account, so I'll add them to the show notes.
Right on. Well,
Yeah,
hey,
so you can
me not
choose.
knowing anything about it makes me like the perfect person for this podcast so I can ask questions and get the answers for all the people who don't know what a pro account is either.
There you go.
We're here to
Win-win.
serve.
Win-win.
So if
But
you're wanting to start a pro account on TikTok, start below in the show notes. I'll have it there for you. We love you guys.
yeah, because it gives you all the analytics. So it has the grid of 24 hours and when the most interactions you have. So I looked at this recently, and I have the most interaction and engagement at like 3 p.m. and 7 a.m. So I'm gonna start testing and start posting at those times to see if my posts take off.
Mhm.
But on the flip side, I posted something last night at 10 o'clock ish, and it's almost 4 o'clock, and I'm at like 17,000 views, which is not like crazy like the other one, but it's still amazing.
Yeah. I haven't gotten that on a single Instagram post ever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is the first thing I've ever had that, like, by definition, went viral.
yeah.
Mhm.
And the interesting metric on top of all that is I have 900,000 views, but I only reached 526,000 accounts. So
Interesting. So people are
that
rewatching.
rewatching,
Nice.
because the common conversation. Oh, wait, to share what it was to the audience, it was a video of some Asian guy doing like crazy pull-ups, like gymnastics types of maneuvers with incredibly strong push-ups, like V-ups with the push-up, and then spreading your arms out wide and coming back to a push-up. So I mean, it's just like incredible feat of human strength.
Well, I bet you got the rewatches because, and I did this. I watched it probably like 5 or 7 times because like the guy does a push up and flies off the ground like 7 feet to grab onto this pole. Like I was like,
Correct.
the hell did I just see? That can't be real.
Correct. And it's in reverse.
Yeah.
So this is where the engagement piece came in, and I think that's why TikTok loved it so much, is because the constant comment that I got was, it's reversed, clown, air quotes. It's reversed. It's reversed. How did you not know? Like, oh man, that's the funny thing. Like, that's another one. So many negative Nancy's in the comments, but
That's
that's what also
surprising.
helped it.
That's surprising because I heard like TikTok is the wholesome network where
Oh no,
everyone's
I would
good.
say I would say it is, generally speaking, in terms of a lot of like the content that's out there. But when you post something like somewhat controversial, the comments are where it's at. Like
Mm.
it's quite the entertaining conversation in a, to anybody who appreciates some level of dark humor, sarcasm, and things like that, or bitter comments. There are those. It's
So it
rife
does
with
have its
those.
embedded evil.
Of course. I mean, it
Yeah.
plagues the human condition, right?
Yeah.
Well, every platform does, right?
It's not
Maybe
like
not
there's better
Pinterest.
humans on TikTok. Yeah, Pinterest, I've gotten some pretty nasty comments before.
Pinterest, all the military moms, they're mean to you.
The Chardonnay moms are mean to Brian.
I
Like
don't
soccer
know.
moms are mean to you.
Hey,
What are you doing?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
Pinterest
I've gotten
people,
a couple.
come on, you guys were
I've gotten a
like the
couple
cream
jabs.
of the crop.
Yeah, I think a few of it was on like some posts about Hawaii and stuff, and they were just kind of like putting their rage out there on, bad experiences they've had with Hawaii and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I've just
That's
become
cool.
the target for all of your rage. It's not on me, but all right.
Hey, we're a tourist destination. If you don't want to come, don't come.
Yeah,
That's
don't
cool.
come. Yeah,
Yeah.
go to some other island.
Hey,
One less car on the road.
Absolutely. I mean, we only have 130 miles around this island. If you add another car, it's already congested.
What was wild was when we were out on Maui, there were just fields of the rental vehicles and stuff. I kid you not, just like lined up, just like whole parking lots and fields and streets full of rental cars that aren't being used during this time. Which I was like, wow, that's a lot of rental cars for Maui. I cannot imagine how many rental cars there are on Oahu.
No, have you seen Aloha Stadium? Like
the
they
stadium.
have every
Oh, yeah.
single rental car like parked in that whole
Yeah.
parking lot.
Well, I think that's smart too. It's right, like, Aloha Stadium isn't doing anything, so they're making use of that space. I'm sure they've swung a deal with the rental cars for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a unique pivot. But gosh, those poor rental companies, I cannot imagine how much they've gone through over the past couple months.
Oh, they'll make it back. They'll just sell the cars.
That's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should make
Also-
some TikToks.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So apparently Facebook is suing the EU right now. It's as a funny, how the turntables. Facebook has basically decided that the EU has infringed on the rights of, I think, some of their staff out there. As a bit of news.
Yeah.
Usually we hear about Facebook getting sued. This is quite an interesting twist.
Well, I mean, that's pretty awesome that you can sue an entire continent. Like,
Right?
I mean,
or a government, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that happens all the
thing.
time. Like suing our government, like people do that all the time. But to like sue a continent, like that's pretty dope.
Yeah. So apparently there was some kind of like privacy that was like infringed. So I mean, it's good on them, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I have a horse in that game, but
well, they're also like what Google, Amazon, Facebook, and what was the other one?
Amazon,
Apple, like
Apple.
they're all having to give testimony to Congress today. I'm not sure about what, but I think it's about like being monopolies.
Oh, okay.
So I think they were kind of. What's the other word for monopolies that they used? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think
so they were basically having to defend themselves.
But Apple is not a monopoly. They're far from.
Well, they're saying it's because they're saying they're basically the gatekeepers of the App Store, and nobody can just put an app out there. They have to go through their commerce platform in order to be on their phones. Which is, again, I think it's an interesting thing. It's like, yeah, so nobody can download apps on the phone unless you jailbreak the device and stuff. But it is true, Apple basically earns a percentage of everything that's sold through their app store. But that's kind of,
I mean, they built the app store.
They built the app store. They built the devices for it. It makes sense to me that they should be the ones to, have a little quality control over that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, the same thing happened like in the 90s. Like Bill Gates had to defend Microsoft for the same kind of like monopoly thing. But obviously, Apple broke through Microsoft's monopoly, and
yeah,
it's just like
one of their things is like you can't put like porn apps out on the App Store. Sorry for our listeners who are, we're talking about some sensitive topics here.
I mean, it would make a lot of money. I mean, but that's where they draw the line.
Yeah, they've drawn some boundaries. I feel like, as a platform, as a product, you should have a right to that kind of stuff, I think. And if you set up a commerce shop, like even though you are the biggest company or whatever, like you set up those quality assurances and everything like that, ways for people to get working with you. If you don't want to build your app over Apple, build it on any other platform. There's
absolutely
things like web apps,
pretty much like every single company that's in front of Congress today builds platforms for entrepreneurs and other small businesses who potentially even could be their competitors. Like look at Amazon. Amazon, like, they started out as a bookstore, but if you're a small mom and pop bookshop, you can compete against Amazon and sell your books across Amazon.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
That may not make sense, but it does at the same time. So every single one of these platforms are platforms that like build a place for entrepreneurs and people to build businesses, potentially even competitors. And it's a weird thing that they're having to defend themselves.
I mean, they're huge, but the reason why I think that they're huge isn't because, they've done something wrong, but it's because they've done things right,
Yep.
It's because, like the whole book buying experience has been horrible up until now. In fact, whole book industry has been horrible. I mean, if you go to, Barnes and Noble, the books that don't sell, they burn those books. Like it's an atrocity. Like, but it's goods that weren't sold. And so it's, it goes into like, they have to burn a loss. My thing is like, why not give it to like libraries or, people need all that kind of stuff.
You literally mean they actually set the books to flame.
And it's almost every bookstore too. Like they have to buy the publisher basically controls that. And they go, look, if these don't sell, you have to burn them. Like
it's like cheese.
Yeah.
It's like cheese. It has a shelf life.
I mean, I just force on paper books, period. I have Kindle.
So here's the thing. Amazon steps in and goes, hey, no more book burning here. We'll just, ship them on demand as people ask for them rather than, having these massive pallets up front inside of their, bookstore. So I think, the publisher wins there. The people who are reading the books win. They're able to have a better shopping experience, and it's also cheaper than ever. And I know the publishers for a long time had some iffy stuff with that. But even the same thing with the App Store. I remember what life was like before there were apps on the phone. And the App Store became this thing, and now it's a marketplace. Now it's this huge thing.
Look at companies like Uber, for instance. Like Uber exists solely as an app, right?
Right.
Like, and that's one of the biggest Silicon Valley companies on the face of the earth. But it only exists because, I mean, obviously they have Android apps and all that kind of stuff too. But like, most people have iPhones. Like, and
it's
like, so I mean, they're providing a way.
It's like Nintendo shows up, and in order to sell over, the Nintendo console, you have to jump through Nintendo's hoops in order to sell your game, even digitally or whatever. Like, it's the same rules apply. There's no, like, that's not like a monopoly. You've got a commerce shop, guaranteed Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook. They're not going to be the last ones that end up creating a better marketplace. They're going to be around for a while, probably. They're probably the new Sears. the new JCPenney,
Yeah, for
the
sure.
new mega stores that have been
Well,
out
I'll just say this:
forever.
you don't go to a Mexican restaurant to get Italian pasta.
Right.
Like let Apple do what they do and fuel the economy of computers. Like
Yeah.
Microsoft and Windows is still here. They're not dead, so there's definitely no damn monopoly. My wife's company uses Dell's. I mean, with Microsoft Windows.
Yeah.
They had Windows like 98 up until I want to say last year. Then they upgraded to 10. They had Windows 98.
That's where Microsoft is never going to go away, is in the workplace, because the computers can be built for so cheap. They're so inexpensive compared to Apple products.
That and the gaming world. Like, I can go out and build a $500 gaming PC that's 10 times more powerful than my 2018 maxed out MacBook Pro. It doesn't look as cool, in my opinion. I like sleek rather than 4 billion colors flying everywhere. But
somebody's notification got hit there.
That was mine.
Oh.
It wasn't a notification though. It was something with my hard drives. So I can't turn it off apparently.
Got it. So apparently, Google is now starting to rank websites based off of health metrics. So health metrics. Yeah.
Like human health metrics?
No, it's more so
like
heart rate.
By your heart rate, it's deciding to rank your website based off of how much you're using your Google Watch thing to run. No,
Neuralink.
Right. Elon Musk is working closely with Google. You heard it first on Unbranded podcast. So health metrics for like a website are things like page speed, loading time, and stuff like that. Beyond the traditional, like, is it mobile friendly or not? Or does it have these tags and everything like that? And so they've just been going even deeper into drop off rates and things like that. Really, some of the metrics, time on page and things like that, stating that these are now the most important pieces of information to Google in order to rank your website, which is very interesting. And as soon as they've made this switch, I've seen a lot of websites do some really funky stuff with their traffic. It's really quite interesting. So it's actually, we're starting to see the effect. Yeah.
It's about time it makes the user experience better.
Right. Yeah.
I kind of thought they were already doing that with that whole health check website that you could do. Or is that just a for it?
Yeah, that was like a lot more mobile emphasis and security. So it was security, mobile first emphasis, and then also certain elements of like accessibility. So were pieces of content contrasting for people who are colorblind, or do certain text descriptors pop up if you hover over an image? Yes, Titus.
No, I'm colorblind.
He's colorblind.
Oh, there you go. See, we need to be more considerate about making websites for people like you who see colors differently. And so Google has been extra conscious about that in the past and has ranked up websites that have things like contrasting colors and stronger contrast or more accessible stuff with people of different abilities.
So it's not necessarily the colors, it's about contrast.
It's more about contrast than it is about colors, because with colorblind, it's not like you could design a page necessarily to match the colors that you want them to see. It's just not really possible. And there's different types of color blindness, but that's just like one of the facets that they measured by. Like your header, you can't like put white text on top of a white background and expect people to see things. It's just bad UI. But people were doing like light gray text on white backgrounds for who knows what reason. And, their websites were ranking just fine, but Google was like, no, these websites should not rank. In fact, some SEOs were really, this was kind of like black hat SEO. They were putting SEO tags and a lot of keyword cramming in white text on top of white backgrounds so that Google would read it, but the human eye wouldn't necessarily. It was an interesting tactic. And a lot of the funny thing about like black hat SEOs, I love them. They, it's like a band of like little evil warlocks. and they're just like testing things on the internet and doing the things that they really shouldn't be doing with, and just trying to break the rules to, trick Google. And it sounds like fun, and it's changing all the time. The thing is that those black hat strategies last for like all of a couple months before Google figures it out and goes, no, that's probably not the way things should be, and we're going to go this direction. So for the longest of time, Google hasn't been ranking websites based off of keywords. It's really been based off of site authority and page speed time and mobile friendliness and all these other kind of things. And the newest thing added to that docket is things like page load time and things they're considering website health. So that's kind of the new change there. It'll be interesting. There's going to be a lot of SEOs kind of screaming and running to their clients and saying, we have to change everything.
So you're saying that it doesn't necessarily have to be mobile friendly anymore? Or is that just built on top of it?
It should be assumed at this point that websites are mobile friendly. Your website probably will not rank well otherwise. Right. But it's on top of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's now the most critical ranking factor. So even websites that did have mobile friendliness but aren't ranking by these metrics will probably see some volatility in their traffic.
Interesting.
So that's on the forecast today, guys. Back to you.
Talk about a monopoly.
Right? Tell me what I got to do with my damn website.
Like who uses Bing or Yahoo? No offense.
You know what? Surprisingly, a lot of people use Bing. And here's why. Me and Wes learned this. That a lot of people use Bing.
The hard way.
We found out that Google wasn't actually using our ad spend for a specific demographic. Like they weren't spending
we'll say in the health field.
It was in the health field.
More in the geriatric age group.
It was the geriatric age group. And
so are you saying the geriatrics use Bing?
I'm saying in this place in the world that we were targeting, more people were using Bing than they were Google, which was interesting. And we looked into the website metrics and we found out why. A majority of people were using Microsoft products, and Microsoft by default uses Bing as a search engine. And who knows how to switch your search engine? I mean, you and I know how to do that.
When you're 70 years old, you ain't caring about what browser to use. You're just going to come.
You're using
which one is that one?
Yeah.
I just click that one and then I top it into the. Then I top it in up here.
Is that Firefox? Do I have to press on the Fox?
It scares me to think that one day that's going to be me with whatever new tech.
I can talk like that because my mom is really old, and that's basic real conversations that I've had with her.
It's borderline ageism.
Fun of anyone. I'm reliving my history.
Yeah.
So please don't be offended by that.
Yeah. So it's more a dramatization of things that have actually happened.
It happened to me.
I respect that. We'll just not
once she retired, she was like, I ain't dealing with no computers no more. You can tell me how to do that. I was like, Mom, we're from Alabama, so the Southern accent is accurate as well. I'm dramatizing my life. Please don't be offended.
So, I'd say a fair amount of people who search the web probably use Google data-wise. The data would show that most people are using Google, but not all people are. There's a significant chunk of people who use Microsoft products and don't change from the default.
And they're also the ones that don't.
It's got to be less than 5%.
I think it was 8%.
I think you'll be surprised. The internet is a much more wilder and diverse use of platforms than I used to think. However, if one builds their website to be able to rank well in Google, it will rank well in Bing. Bing is not trying to push a different agenda in terms of search outside of Google. So it all works off the same principles. However, Google is a little bit more avant-garde in terms of their policies of ranking.
Well, also too, I don't think that demographic really cares about iPhone. So they kind of they know they have to have a smartphone unless they're my mom and like can't really figure out a smartphone at all. And so then they end up going to like a flip phone, which is the case. But if not, they're going to go for, chances are because they're on retirement and, the average person doesn't make that much money in retirement to like afford, crazy expensive technology. So a lot of them end up going for the cheaper Androids. And so that's going to have Bing kind of in there too.
Wow.
Right?
Okay, so Statista.com has these stats. Monthly wide searches of volume on Bing, 12 billion. Monthly search volume of Bing in the United States, 500 million. And number of unique monthly global visitors to Bing, 936 million. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot more wilder. Yeah.
I think what I said about Android was wrong, by the way, because Android's a Google product. Never mind.
Android is a Google product. Yeah, Microsoft has their own Microsoft phones.
Yeah.
I think my brother had a Microsoft phone at some time.
Yeah, people use Bing, bro.
How much?
33% of the U.S. uses Bing.
There you go. I'm telling you, it's a significant chunk. And as like marketers and advertisers, that's not even on our radar at all. And me and Wes learned the hard way. So now it is on our radar. Now we're sharing it with you.
I will say this. We put our ad dollars split between Google and Bing. And I don't think maybe even $10 was spent in that first month on Google, where all of it was spent in Bing.
So
like those people weren't searching for those keywords on Google.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this near Microsoft home base? I don't even know where home base is.
It's actually in Michigan. I think I can say the location, right?
Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So, Microsoft's home base is like what, in Silicon Valley still, basically, essentially.
Oh, I thought it was like Seattle.
Oh, they might have moved it. They might have moved campus or something like that. Yeah. But, I think there's areas there where it's fair to say have not been canvassed by Google, or, Google is viewed as not trustworthy for certain reasons, which, let's be honest, there are some creepy things that Google has done that probably aren't so kosher.
Like those robots. Have you seen those robot dogs? Those things are so creepy.
Dude, they're extent
robots.
What?
No, seriously, Black Mirror robots.
I don't know what they're called. I know they're scary looking though.
So it's not technically Google, but Google's holding company Alphabet does all kinds of side projects, and one of them is robotics. And they've developed this robot. Let's see.
This thing's been out for years, but man, it is the creepiest thing to watch that thing move.
Oh my God. Do I just search Google robot?
Google probably.
Dog robot?
Yeah, Google dog robot. Those things. And if it ever gets AI, holy crap, guys.
Yeah, that looks exactly like Black Mirror. Are we gonna put machine guns and knives on this thing? What the French?
I wouldn't doubt that the government has probably a few of those with weapons attached to them. We already fly drones with weapons attached to them. Like, why wouldn't we use robotic dogs?
Zero doubt in my mind. Zero.
And then you just put some fur on it and put a fake head on it. They're like, oh, it's just a little dog.
Oh, look, it's a golden retriever.
And then explodes.
Or
maims kids.
Heat-seeking missiles at you.
Yeah, dude. Those things are scary. Yeah, but they've been out for a while, though.
We'll share this video here.
Well, our audio listeners, they're not going to be able to see that, so you're going to have to explain what's happening. You have to narrate. Okay,
so you can't see this. There's a robot dog walking down the hall, passing by some human beings. This thing looks like borderline a thing of nightmares.
You can just like go on YouTube and search "introducing Spot Classic," and just videos.
And they're kicking these robots.
Yeah, they kick them and they don't fall. Like, I'm telling you, if I kick my cat, it will fall. This dog does not fall.
I'm telling you, these
I don't kick my cat though.
Will remember everything. You heard it first on the robot podcast here. This is Skynet in the making.
Alexa listens to everything I say. Oh, you hear that? Alexa just heard me.
Listen.
Oh, wow.
I'm not so sure what went wrong.
In the studio.
Yeah.
That's funny.
She's right over here.
So funny.
Yeah, let's not say Alexa's name out loud.
She can't hear you. She can hear me.
I see. Okay.
So
Well,
you can
what
say it
you
all you
really
want.
don't know is that she can actually hear you in your headphones. You're listening to everything.
No, here, this is like crazy stuff. Like, we're marketers, but like this is way deep down a dark hole. So as you guys know, I just put this studio thing together. I built it last week. It's just a spare room that's in our house and I'm converting it. So obviously we're looking for stuff like furniture and, you know, carpets and tapestries and, you know, things to make it, you know, comfortable. Right. So like literally every time my wife and I had a conversation about like furnishings for this room, like we would get an email from Target or some sort of like a notification from the Target app saying, oh, rugs are on sale. Check out these desks. Check out this office chair. Like all these different, check out these drapes. Cause you know, I had to put curtains up to keep the neighbors from wanting to know what's in here.
That's
But
wild.
dude,
Oh,
like,
can I get access to this ad platform, please?
I think it's just Target. Like, but
Yeah.
like,
Ooh, that's creepy, man.
but I
have
mean,
chicken
it just,
right now.
it just goes into more and more proofs that they are listening. And I'm sure it's somewhere in the terms and conditions we agreed to turn that on.
It is.
Right.
But
But
like, dude,
if you've
seriously,
ever Googled,
5 minutes after these conversations, we're getting notifications. I'm like, thanks, Target, but that's really creeping me out.
Yeah. There's a couple things at work here, you know, too, is that there are probably some things that you were searching for using Google, not necessarily like rugs or things like that, but like office supplies that were basically flagged as buyer signals for you looking for things.
Right.
And the ad platforms are sharp enough to, you know, market those things to the thing, to the thing.
Well, this is just Target.
However,
this isn't Amazon. This isn't any other thing. This is just Target.
Yeah,
like Target's got it nailed to give me what I want in 5 minutes. I guarantee you after this conversation, like my wife's going to get, hey, they said that there's this end table that you should get. And I'm going to get an end table, guys.
What I need you to do is say, hey, I'm really thinking about getting a giant rubber ducky.
I don't think Target sells that. But hey, Target, if you're listening, I'd like a giant rubber ducky.
There we go. All right, this week, when we come back, I want a screenshot of a giant rubber ducky from Target.
If they send me one,
to you.
Then
wait, let's pick something that they have, like a donut floaty.
Like I've already been talking about like furniture. I mean, this is Target, guys. Like me and my wife go to Target like it's a vacation, but we go weekly.
Yeah.
Like
so
we stroll.
What I need you to do with Alexa and all your devices listening to you, I need you to speak to us as if you're speaking to Karen and just say passionately, you know what? I think I really need a donut floaty.
Alexa, I really need a donut floaty.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Yeah. No, not telling Alexa directly, but just, you know, now Alexa knows for sure. We know
if
Alexa knows.
If I see a donut or a rubber ducky come up on my social accounts or websites that I visit, I will take a screenshot and
screenshot that, and we will share it for the podcast next time. This has been Marketing Experiments with the Unbranded podcast.
Wait, are we done? That was very abrupt.
No.
Oh, okay.
That was just a you know, a bit right there, but you know.
Yeah, man.
I think it's gonna happen.
What's that? Skynet?
I think it's gonna happen. Yes.
Oh, have you ever
guaranteed?
Dude, just the AIs, even though they're just voices, like some of the AIs, like what was that one? It was like last year or the year before that like they had to
Elon Musk pulled the plug on it. Yeah.
Because they started the AIs developed their own code and like their own language.
It created its own language.
It started
rearranging its own code.
No thank you.
So wild. So Elon Musk was like, "Now this has got to go. We're pulling this. Totally shut the whole thing down."
What would be amazing if all these like Amazon Echoes and things just started like talking to each other, because I have like 4 in my house, so they're like having communication right now. Like, and I can't hear it; it's inaudible. And like all of a sudden, like it's gonna like start some factory process that's gonna build the robot. And
I mean,
but it all starts from like these home assistants, right?
here's
gonna be
the reality.
crazy.
Like the new, the new wave, and I feel like we're going into Joe Rogan kind of territory here. But the new wave of things going wrong in the world are all connected to hacking and everything like that. Like government systems have been outdated with their tech for a long time. Health, all of that. Devices have been pinging the internet and taking websites down. You put a smart robot in charge of facilitating some kind of change in the world, and it's over. It's over. Like it decides, oh, you know what? People aren't probably a good idea. Let's hack NASA. Like that's all it takes.
But you know what? Like
Death
as
laser.
marketers, unaware to this, we actually get access to those things like the
100%.
the audible, like like iPhone listening to you want something, and it puts it into the behaviors of the people on Facebook. Like so, we're already tapping into that without actually tapping into it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, no, it's an
it helps us out
platform.
for sure.
Yeah, as an advertiser, as a marketer, it makes sense. It's like, hey,
but if Facebook
show this
can
to
get
people
it,
who are interested in buying, rugs and stuff, and then they use all of their data and listening tools and everything like that. We're not the one doing all of that. Like we just tell a thing.
I have to say though, like if other companies can get it on point like Target does, like Target's got some voodoo going on in that.
Oh, Target. So there was one story
Wes.
about. Oh, go ahead.
What?
I have a funny story. So, Wes, remember at church when I asked you about your mobile camera?
The
were
Movi,
recording?
the
Movo. Movi?
Oh, the little camera that we would film like the
Yeah.
Enneagram thing. Okay, yeah. I can't remember Movu, that thing.
That night, I got to add an Instagram. I did
Dude,
not
that
search
happens
for
all
it.
the time to us. Like,
Yes.
we'll be having a conversation. Like, if I scroll Instagram after this, I'm gonna get so many ads for things that we've talked about in this.
So we win.
Yeah, we
There
get
you
we
go.
get to
We
use the
leverage these
technology. We just don't know
platforms.
how.
I mean,
We don't get to
look
control it.
at how beneficial and how far we've come. We've gone from television ads that were just like shoved down your throat, which I would argue they still are.
Newspapers.
It's like complete psychic bombardment, to ads of stuff you actually want and have been considering and thinking about. Like that's a massive leap. Like, yeah, show me why I should maybe have a second thought about this product that I might have put on the side or something like that, if left open in my shopping cart. Like, yeah, absolutely.
I'm just glad to not see laundry detergent ads anymore because, like,
Dude,
I
or
could
car
care less
insurance
about
ads.
laundry detergent.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to use the
Ignorance.
cheapest one that's HE compatible.
It's like those fraudsters on the telephone that are like, hey, your vehicle insurance is expired and blah blah blah, and I don't have a vehicle.
You want me to buy Tide? Lower the price. Come on, Tide.
Right.
You know we
Right,
ain't
okay.
out there. I know there's some people buying Tide just because I got to buy everything bougie because everything bougie better. But
Right.
it's soap, guys. It's soap.
You know what's nuts is
Fucking
prices. Speaking of excellent Amazon choices in purchasing Whole Foods, the prices, and this is a brand ad for Whole Foods. The prices there, and mind you, this is Hawaii where everything's ridiculously expensive. The prices there are incredible. Like we were there,
astronomical.
it was like
yeah.
$2 a pound for grapes. Like freaking fantastic. Where can you get that anywhere else on island? It's good, it's good food for the most part. Like really, really great food. So I was
But
like,
an apple
wow,
is
this
going to
is
cost you $9. One
right.
apple.
Apple.com sells the $900 apple. Well, speaking of which, actually, Apple just released some of their specs for like the new phone and stuff like that, and it's looking like the lowest model is, I think, $399.
Dude, I was actually
For a
considering, like, I have the iPhone 11 Pro, not the Max, just the regular. And I've seen the video quality out of the iPhone SE. Like, I'm considering downgrading.
No, it's looking, ooh, the triple lens there.
Dude,
Titus just whipped out his triple lens iPhone camera.
I mean, honestly,
Aiming us all.
The only reason I even have the iPhone 11, I have the iPhone 11 Pro also.
Oh gosh, am I the only one
See-
that has the two? Oh gosh, I feel
because you don't do the Apple upgrade program. Like
I have not kept up with the Joneses. No, I do
Um,
have the Apple upgrade program, but it's
oh.
through AT&T.
well,
But I
then
just didn't
the Apple
choose. I
upgrade
just
program
didn't choose the three
is through
camera
AT&T.
lens one. Yeah.
Well, like the thing with the I don't actually use hardly ever the telephoto lens or the wide. I might use the wide on occasion, but like to be honest, like all you need is that one camera. Just move forward or backwards, unless you're at the Grand Canyon, then you might die. But like, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, like the new camera on that phone, like I'm pretty sold on it. I saw some filmmakers using it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't
Wes,
need this.
I think that's because you're a photographer and you like prime lenses.
That's true.
I use the wide all the time. I
But
love it.
But as the
And
more I get into
Titus is
filmmaking, though,
Titus
the more
is
I get into
one winning on
filmmaking,
TikTok, so I feel like Titus wins.
well, I'm winning on Instagram.
You are definitely winning on Instagram.
You have
But
won
you keep
Instagram.
going, you're going to surpass me on TikTok.
It's true.
So.
It's true. In a matter of days.
I only have like 18,000 followers on Instagram. You're going to pass me on TikTok with that.
Let's take a look. I went from 220 to like
Here we go.
3,000 something.
Drum roll,
Let's
please.
take a look. I
But-
am currently at 3,921 in 3 days or 4 days.
Yeah, if you keep up, dude, you're going to like go really far past me. But like I'm going to like trade that phone in for the SE and get a crap ton of memory and a really freaking awesome camera. That's all I care about at this point.
There you go.
I don't
think
need
that's a smart
I don't
move.
need the OLED screen. I don't care about because I don't think it's going to have like facial recognition or anything like that. Like,
I hear the
don't
new
know.
Mac is likely going to have facial recognition, which is
Yeah,
an
that's what I
interesting
heard
time
too.
to introduce that during the time where everybody's wearing face masks. I just feel
Well,
like
I mean,
at
are you
that
sitting
time-
at your computer with a face mask? I guess if you're going to a coffee shop, but like, I mean, they're
Can't even
rolling.
go to a
Most states
coffee
are
shop.
rolling back right now, so you can't.
I
even go
feel
really
I
sit
feel
in
like
there.
they should go. I feel like they should have gone with thumbprint. Like
As long as it
touch-
can
touch
see my
tab.
beard and let me in my computer, I'm okay with it. I do hate being out in the store though and having a mask on and not being able to open my phone. I hate that.
mhm.
You
Yeah,
can set the
having
shortcut to talk to it.
to. Ooh,
What's that?
There's a shortcut. So you can pull up Siri and you can say open me. And then when you set that command open me, all you have to do prior is just press your password in and it'll automatically press in your numeric password. So that way you don't have to type it in. You can just hold the button and say open me or whatever you want. You could say fuck you and then it'll open your phone if you want.
I didn't know
It's a
that.
fun little iPhone hack.
I did not know that.
Yeah, in shortcuts. So you just create your own shortcut and then you touch it on your pad. So you just you put like tape where your password is. Let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You put the 4 pieces of tape and then you tap the tape and it'll save those taps. There you go, listeners. That's why you made it 50 minutes in to learn this little iPhone hack that I learned on
There we go.
TikTok.
That has nothing to
iPhone
do
hacks?
with marketing. Now we're just marketing a product that we don't sell.
There you go. Sponsor us, Apple. Sponsor us.
Unless they hire me one day to do marketing.
All right. Any closing thoughts for our audience?
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
I'll address you directly. We are 3 guys who don't really know what we're doing as in regards to the podcast world. I mean, Wes knows how to make them, but we're just flying off the
Well, Brian
cuff.
knows how to as well.
Wes is the expert on podcasts. All right, I'm a newbie. I'm just starting out here. I'll say I don't know what I'm doing.
You know what's interesting? We didn't at all talk about the fact that we just went through a hurricane.
We didn't. You know what? And to that point, audience, there was
dodged
a
the
lot of
bullet.
hoopla about this hurricane. It was looking really bad. Usually hurricanes that come this way hit Big Island and split because of how tall Big Island is. But it went around it this time, and we were like, gosh
And it
darn
still
it.
missed us.
And it missed us. So
Like
we're
a
very
ball
happy
rolling on
about
a
that,
table.
but also disappointed because we were just waiting at home for nothing. The end. It was the most boring thing And that's all that needs to be said.
What's
about
funny is that the weather the next 2 days after that were worse than the hurricane.
It was 100%
It was windy
worse.
and rainy the 2 days after the hurricane.
It was raining cats and dogs yesterday.
Yeah.
It was
amazing.
nuts.
Yeah.
Kilo was beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure.
since the
I'm sure.
hurricane.
Yeah.
We just had to mention it for historical documentation.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
how do you just go through that and then we don't talk about it?
What was the name? Douglas.
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 My
just
cat's
avoided
name is
Wahoo.
Douglas.
You see, there were too many Douglases for Wahoo. That's what it
Yeah.
was. It was like,
There's always room for my cat.
Douglas. Yep. And cats always
Yeah.
win. Cats win, especially when it comes to the internet. And I think we will end on that note. We'll see you next week.
Thank you guys for listening. Aloha. You've been listening to the Unbranded podcast.